So when you sell Legacy, or when you say, hey, go see Legacy, here's what you're kind of telling them. You're saying, here's the old guy in town. He's been doing it a long, long time. He's been in community with me and at church and at different functions like the prayer breakfast this morning and doing whatever in his community. He's going to take 45 minutes and he's going to listen to your story. And once I hear that story, then I can put together a plan. Because it does us no good, guys, if 5 years from now, after we put them in a house, they get divorced. That's a horrible thing that families will go through if they have financial stress. And sometimes we have to step back and say, look, I understand you want a $300,000 house, but this is really my recommendation on what you need. Now, you can still choose that if you'd like. Life's all about choices. But this is where, from a family standpoint, is where they need to be. So a guy gave me a great compliment yesterday. We went through everything, and I said, now, at the end of the story, I said, now, you can choose any lender in town. There's some great local lenders. We would hope that you choose us. But I just wanted to make certain that you had all the information that you needed to make a really, really great decision. And he said, why would I go anywhere else? He said, you just spent 30 minutes on the phone with me telling me everything I needed to know and how to do it. And he said, nobody in town is going to do that. And I said, well, that's just what we do. We want to be a resource for our community. And if you listen to the speaker today, if you're there at the event this morning that the business people put on, that was the same message. In our businesses, be a resource for your clients, for your neighbors, for anybody out there. You'll get lots of business if you're just a great resource. So from that standpoint, make certain to use some of our tools on our website. Make certain that one of the great tips, I lost a good friend of mine, Ken Stockdale, a few weeks back, and some of you may not have ever got to work with Ken. I got to work with Ken for a long time, about 5 or 6 years, and that was a long time when you worked with Ken. And Ken always had a method of selling. And his selling process was, he got you in the Suburban, and he drove you to John Hinchy's office. And he sat down across from John Hinchy, didn't have an appointment, and he said, John, this is David. David's going to buy a house today. Now, David, tell John all your financial information. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, and when I come back, we're going to go look at houses. And David would go, okay. And so we would go through the whole process. We would get up. Ken would take David out to the car. About 3 hours later, he would come back and here's the contract. Close it in 30 days. I'd say, okay. Because Ken knew that relationships matter in our sales process. And I know we're phone and we're video and all that. But please feel comfortable bringing your clients to our office. We have a great office. We love it, and we love it when clients and you come in because it creates this whole relationship thing that we care and that we're in community with these folks, and we want to create a not just a business transaction, but a kind of a life event for us. So these homes matter to folks. As we move over and we talk to TRID in your package today, I put a couple of things in there. On the left, it says, let Legacy help. Okay, this is kind of what we were happening moving up to TRID and moving through TRID. And I'm so thankful that Rebecca and Kurt and Joanne are here from our title companies today because they can probably speak as better to TRID than I can right now as we go through this process. On the right are TRID dates that I put together for you. So how many of you in the room has had a TRID closing yet? Title company, and Beth. Okay. And we've got one Friday, right? Okay. JD and I were talking about this. It's kind of interesting. What happened in the process before? Okay. We get a contract. We kind of, here's an amendment. I forgot to give it to John. It's no big deal because I got it to the title company. And John got it clear to close this morning at 9 finally after dragging his feet for 10 days because we asked for a 10-day close. And we finally got it there. And these guys finally got the HUD to us. And at 4:30, we're all going to close. And can we fund today? Right? That was the process. Well, process kind of got all backed up here on us. The process, and then as we tried to, we had meetings and meetings and meetings and said, please, please, please give us 45 days to close. Give us 45 days to close. This is going to be a horrible thing. Give us 45 days to close. What ended up happening? We ended up with 30-day closings. And we all looked at each other and went, this is going to be hard. This is going to kill us. And it just about did. It was hard. And it's still hard. We haven't got it figured out yet. Here's a couple reasons why. You look at it and you go, gosh, title companies, y'all knew this was coming for a year. Why couldn't y'all figure this out? Gosh, lender, you knew this was coming for a year. Y'all said that you had it all figured out and y'all were going to be the best in the business at this. We had no idea. Here's why. Because you couldn't staff up. Rebecca couldn't go out and hire other people to do a closing disclosure because in order to do a closing disclosure, you had to have about 20 years experience. They're hard. We couldn't go out and hire extra closers to do this because it's hard. You have to know the industry, and you have to know that if I click this button and I'm wrong, it can cost me my license, and it can cost a huge amount of money in a fine. So, here's what's going on behind the scenes. These dates are real, and they move a little bit based on, is my bank open? Is the title company open? Yes, that's a countable day, but it's a holiday. We're not working. So for Thanksgiving, everybody takes off Thursday, Friday, right? Okay. Well, Thursday is actually a count day for TRID. We get a count Thursday. We didn't get a count yesterday because it was a Veterans Day. TRID only recognizes Thanksgiving. Your employers give you off on Thursday. So nobody's going to be around to do TRID documents on Friday. Sorry, on Friday, right? So guess what? So even though it counts, it don't count. That's what we're running into. So you're backing things up. Not only that, in our loan process, here's what happens with a file. As you know or don't know, right now it's illegal for me to look at a client at a pre-qualification and say, I need to see your tax returns and I need to see your pay stubs. I cannot demand that. I can ask for them. I can't demand for it. We ask for them very sternly in my office. We have yet to been refused to say no, but we demand them. I am not going to put your business, I'm not going to put my on the line if I don't see tax returns and pay stubs and things like that. Okay? That's the upfront pre-qualification phase. So in your pre-qualification letters, if you look at them real close, most of the time when it said, we've reviewed the credit file, we've reviewed the tax returns, we've reviewed this, we've reviewed that, in a lot of cases, that tax return language is pulled out. So be careful when you're accepting offers and when you're making offers to look at that and just double check with your lender and say, hey, you really don't have this yet? It's like, no, we just pre-qualified them 4 hours ago. So just be careful with that because legally, if I don't have them, I can't put them in that letter. And legally, I can't even ask for them on a pre-qual. I can ask for them. I can't demand that they give them to me. I can't say, I can't give you a pre-qual letter until you give me your tax return. I didn't write it. I got to obey it. So we're working around that. We're working through that. So a pre-approval process, and then it is a meeting with Johnny. And this meeting with Johnny is really comfortable. It's informative. It's caring. It's loving. And at the end, it's grabbing you by the shoulders and looking at you and saying, look, you have to do exactly what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. And if I ask for something by 5 o'clock, I have to have it or your loan will not close on time. Do you understand that? Yes. Okay. And if I ask for something next week that I didn't ask for today, it doesn't have anything to do with your loan being approved. It has to do with me meeting the regulation, and you gave me a piece of paper that demands another piece of paper now. So get over it. Okay? And lovingly and caringly, we hug and we say we're going to get this done. Okay? And then we turn around and we start relying on our title partners. There is I have worked with other title companies in other towns, Flower Mound and other things like that. I love you guys. I really, really do. Y'all do a great, great job for everybody, for your clients. You stay late. You care for your realtors. You don't get this type of service anywhere else. So I know we all have bad days, but I just tell you right up front how much we appreciate you and what you do for us, because we tend up getting a lot of the credit for all of the stuff that y'all have to go through sometimes because of us. So loan process, loan application, get an approval. And approval comes in. 2 months ago, when approval came in, I could deliver closing instructions to Kurt. Kurt could start on a HUD. Can't do that anymore. So I'll lose a day. And I just lost my microphone. So what happens from that aspect is once we get approval, we go to Jessica. And I can't live without Jessica, and I can't live without Crystal. Okay? Because I'm all up in here, and they're all just... So Jessica comes in and says, "This is what we need, boss. I'm going to get it." I said, "Okay." She said, "When you need it?" I said, "Today." She says, "I'm on it." So she goes, and we talk to that client, and we get that information in. We get it right back into underwriting. Then we go to clear to close. What happened 2 months ago when we were clear to close? It goes to closing department. Closing department start hitting some buttons. We send out closing instructions to title. 2 hours later, title sends us a HUD. We approve it. An hour after that, everybody goes to closing. Hour after that, it funds. We all get paid. Customer gets keys. Fantastic. What a job we did. And we were able to do lots of those, right? We close loans in 25 days, 30 days, 25 days, cycle times. Well, approval, pre-qual's longer, application's longer. Now, when I get a clear to close, what happens? It goes to the closing department to get in line behind the other TRID files that we're working. The first TRID document, I'm pretty sure, took my closing department 48 hours to kick out. And then what we did, we looked at the title company and said, "Give it back to us." Because we send it to the title company, and then they check it, double check it, and then send it back to us. So there's a back and forth approval, but it's a little backwards than it was before, because in the end, we're the ones that's responsible for sending it out to the client. It may not surprise you, but all the TRID closing disclosures normally go out about 6:30 at night. That's how long we've been there every night this week, trying to get this stuff out. Okay? Because if we don't hit this date, if I don't hit for my closings on Monday, okay, if I don't have the closing document out by today, yeah, I'm toast. Okay? Toast. So it's just another hurdle. And they've been overwhelmed because they're used to closing, I don't know how many closings a day, 20 probably, 15, I don't know. But this TRID thing just put the brakes on everybody because it takes so much labor to get them approved so that no one gets fined over $100,000 for an error that we're having to be awesome. We called for that. Can you do a weed eating session right when we're doing our lunch and learn? And so we've got this bottleneck. It's getting much better. Much better. We've taken that 2 days down to about 8 hours. And that 8 hours will ultimately get down to about 4, and we'll kind of get back in the swing. Okay? But this upfront bottleneck, no one really knew the impact. And so if we had any delays in the process, we apologize. We were going through a huge learning curve that no one, even though we knew the cyclone was coming, even though we knew there was just no way to get out of it. You could either hide in the cellar or you could stand there and just let it hit you, and that's all we could do was stand there and let us hit us because we couldn't hide. We were just trying to work through as fast as we could. But dates are very important, and dates are kind of fluid, once again, based on, are you open? Are we open? Is the bank open? Is it a national holiday? Is the Fed closed? Is it not closed? And so each month, okay, we're going to try to produce you a TRID calendar, okay, so that you can meet, if you're not using us, and everybody can't use us, and everybody doesn't want to use us, and I get that, and that's fine for your loans. If you want to use me for a resource, we'll always be here. We'll always pick up the phone, and we'll always answer your questions, and you will get great service, whether we've ever done a transaction or not, I promise. And in that, we want to provide a calendar so that you can take back to your lender and say, "Oh, is this right? We have to be clear to close." And a clear to close is about 2 days behind this CD date, the closing disclosure date. Because you've got to give the title company and us lenders a couple of days ahead before that deadline. So you can look on this and just take a look at the 30th for me. We have some closings coming up on the 30th. Guess when I have to have the disclosure out by? 25th, right, the Wednesday. So guess what that's going to make the day before we all get off of Thanksgiving? Yeah, it's going to be hell. So that's not going to be any fun. Well, for me as a lender, when does my file have to be clear to close? Closing department says they need 2 days, and title says they need 2 days to get finished up. I'm talking Friday. I'm talking having to be clear to close by Friday the 20th to meet a closing date on the 30th. Yeah, that's horrible. How we going to make a living? All right, here's how we're going to make a living. Number one, get your goals out now. Look at what you did this year. Please remember that what you accomplished this year was mostly done on 20 and 30-day cycles. And come back to that and say, okay, well, how am I going to generate the same number of units or the same number of sales on possibly a slower time cycle? Slower time cycle, I think, will be here till about January. Okay, after January, it should be relatively smooth and back to a 35-day process is kind of our target. So as you prepare your goals, kind of think about that. Thinking of your turn times and cycle times. And at Keller Williams, I know some of these other groups, they do a great job of educating on the training sessions of turns and cycles and things like that. Also, when you set your goals, I shared this before. One of the coolest things we've done in our group before is, in order to get that big fat goal number and units and sales and revenue that you want to hit, I have a suggestion for you. And the suggestion is, set your tithe and your giving number first and make it stupid. Say, this is how much I want to give away this year. If you take that number and then you back in to a sales number, it'll blow your mind. But start with your giving and your charitable and your tithing number first. Okay? Just a hint. Instead of saying, this is how much I want to make and this is what I want to do, back up and say, this is how much I want to give away. This is how much I want to give away. I don't need it. And all of a sudden, this over here will come into play. If you haven't done your goals, get them done. Sit down. It's math. Just do it. If you need help with them, let me know. We'll be happy to come in and help you with that.